Hi guys, my name is Gabby. Some of you might know me already from previous SGI English classes. Some of you don't know me, but I'm here to help you with all of your English needs. So this video is about logical fallacies, so if you are looking for help with logical fallacies, this is the video that you want to watch. So first slide just has a notes page. You can open up that notes page and print it out and take notes on it if you want to. Then that could be a really fun, nice little cheat sheet to help you whenever you're doing anything that requires logical fallacies in your packets. It does require that you find logical fallacies in a number of speeches and passages. So instead of having to rewatch the videos or rewatch this video or look at your PowerPoints again and things like that, you could just have this notes page that would help you. I'm also going to put the link to this video in this PowerPoint as well. So that's where that's going to go. That's why that's there. But let's get into it. So what are logical fallacies? A logical fallacy is an error in reasoning that renders the argument invalid. So it's basically just like a dumb argument. That's basically what logical fallacies is. It often leads to a loss of ethos. So if you've already watched my video on ethos, logos, and pathos, ethos is your credibility. If you make a bad argument, it makes you less credible, it makes you less believable, it makes you less trustworthy. They come in many forms, and they're used in pretty much every facet of life, sadly. So a logical fallacy is basically fake logic. Fallacy, false logic. Logic is the way that things make sense, right? So I have some fun pictures. I actually have this book. It's called The Illustrated Book of Bad Arguments, and it's really funny. If you're in my class, I would show it to you. If you've been in my class, I might have shown it to you. And then one thing I do with my class is we play logical fallacy bingo at the end of this. So I'll show you guys a bunch of different things, and then you have to see if you can get them all 5 in a row. But we won't be doing that today because I don't have an actual classroom. But if you join my class next semester or next school year, we might be doing that. So the first logical fallacy I want to talk about today is slippery slope. Slippery slope is the idea that one thing leads to another, often leading to an extreme conclusion. If you can stop at any point, then it is a slippery slope. So an example of this. So a man marries another man. What's next? A woman marrying her dog? A shoe marrying bees? Think about it. If you can stop at any point, it's a slippery slope. Just because one man marries another man doesn't mean a woman's going to marry her dog or anything of the sort. Another one is that age-old one that you heard of as a kid. If you give a moose a muffin, if you give a moose a muffin, then he's going to ask for a glass of milk. Then he's going to want some soap to wash that glass. Then he's going to want a couch to sit on to enjoy his muffin. Then he's going to want, and it just goes on and on. There's one from the book that I've mentioned before. And here's another one. Yeah, but if I'm considerate to one person about one thing, what's next? Being nice to other people about other things? Where does it end? How dare he? So again, if you forget your pencil, then you're not going to be able to take notes. If you're not able to take notes, then you're not going to get an A on the test. If you don't get an A on the test, then you're going to fail my class. After you fail my class, you're going to fail all of your classes. After you fail all of your classes, you're going to fail out of high school. You're going to end up a bum on the streets and die. Like, if you forget your pencil, doesn't mean you're going to end up on the streets and die. So that's a slippery slope. The next one is a red herring. This was always my favorite. It's something that misleads or distracts from a relevant or important question or topic. So if we're arguing about dogs versus cats, and then somebody's like, hey, look at this fish. That's what it basically is. A red herring is a fish. So it's like you're having an argument, and then somebody's just all of a sudden holding up this big old red fish, and they're like, hey, look at this fish, instead of making the argument. So we can't worry about the environment. We're in the middle of a war. What does it have to do with our environment? The war doesn't have anything to do with me caring about the environment. It's something completely different. So you can't distract me away from the environment with your work talk. The last one example I have here. So heart disease deaths 599,000. Motor vehicle deaths, 36,000. HIV deaths, 9,000. Firearm-related deaths, 30,000. You still think guns are the problem? So just because people are dying of heart disease, car accidents, and HIV doesn't mean that people are unnecessarily dying from guns. So they're trying to distract you with all those other deaths instead of letting you focus on firearm-related deaths. Another logical fallacy is a non-sequitur. It literally means not in sequence. So it's an argument in which claims, reasons, or warrants fail to connect logically. So people died of cancer before cigarettes were invented. So smoking doesn't cause cancer. It kind of sounds like it makes sense, but you know logically it does not make sense. Another one is penguins are black and white. Some old TV shows are black and white. Therefore, penguins are old TV shows. Again, it kind of sounds like it makes sense, but it doesn't. It does not make sense. So another one, bats are mammals. Bats can fly. Pigs are mammals. Therefore, pigs can fly. And then he has a little Traps pig. It sounds like it makes sense, but it doesn't. Another one is post hoc or questionable cause. So concluding that one thing causes another simply because they are regularly associated. So I used to think correlation implied causation, and then I took a statistics class, and now it doesn't. Well, sounds like that class helped. Well, maybe. See, the correlation, the fact that they both happened at the same time, doesn't mean that because of this happened. So another one is, I washed my car, then it started raining. Clearly, I caused it to rain. Just because I washed my car doesn't mean I caused rain. Or deadly facts about water. Fact, water can be chemically synthesized. 100% of people that drink water die. Serial killers drink water. Like, just because people who drink water end up dying doesn't mean water causes death. That's questionable cause. Bandwagon is the assumption that the majority is always valid and therefore everybody believes it, you should too. This is that argument that you hear parents make all the time. It's that whole, just because your friends all do it doesn't mean you have to do it. They're fighting against that bandwagon fallacy. So McDonald's, billions and billions served. The reason why they put billions and billions served is because a billion people, billions and billions of people, can't be wrong. McDonald's must be delicious. This is that whole thing. Liz says, if Liz told you to jump off a bridge, would you do it? And then here's another one. I'm sorry, but most people don't believe that drug effects actually exist. Sorry, my dog is loud sometimes. And it's like, well, data says it does. And it's like, it just shows you another example there. Next is ad hominem, and that's attacking the man instead of the argument. This was my brother's favorite always. If we're arguing about what show to watch or something like that, he would always say, well, you're dumb. And it's like, okay, but like, even if I'm not, like, that doesn't help the argument right now. You calling me dumb doesn't do anything. So, logical fallacy, this is two ducks fighting. We share many genetic characteristics with ducks because we have evolved from a calamine ancestor. And then he's like, you're close-minded and stupid and you eat corn. You don't know anything. Just because the goose might eat corn doesn't mean the argument's less valid. And then this one, based on data, I suggest that the clone, the second receptor subtype. I disagree, and I think we're overlooking a critical factor here. Are you referring to this scientific thing? It's like, yes, but mostly due to the fact that you're a useless idiot. Doesn't help the actual argument. And it's like, your face is an ad hominem, also not a valid argument. False authority. So this one is using an alleged authority as evidence in your argument when the authority is not really an authority. So let's look at this one. If Ron Burgundy says it, it's the truth, right? I don't know if all of you guys have seen this movie, but that's one of the things. Or like Marilyn Monroe says, yes, I use Luster Cream shampoo. Just because Marilyn Monroe likes this shampoo doesn't mean that she knows anything about what makes a good shampoo. She's not a shampoo scientist that knows anything about it. It's just her hair is pretty, so we trust her. A modern day example of this might be Ariana Grande with her like real long ponytail. That might be more relevant to y'all. Hasty generalization. So drawing a conclusion based off a small sample size rather than looking at the statistics. So that monkey stole my banana, therefore all monkeys are thieves. Teachers are guilty of this a lot when they say, like, all students are messy because one student left behind a water bottle, something like that. Or something like this, all sports car drivers are so aggressive. Or all cats have 4 legs. Oh, that's not that. Which one is that? Try a second and guess. All cats have 4 legs. I have 4 legs, therefore I'm a cat. Can you guess which one that one is? If you guess non sequitur, you're right. Congrats. Straw man. This is another one. Substituting a person's actual position or argument with a distorted, exaggerated, or misrepresented version of the position or argument. So you're having this argument, and the person just kind of picks and chooses little parts of weakness and constructs this fake argument, and then they slap it down, and they're like, haha, I win. And it's like, no, you didn't face my argument. You constructed this new thing that isn't really my argument, and you beat that. So an example of this is kind of like, okay, let's look at this comic over here. It says, and given my contributions to this paper, I think that I deserve to share credit with the first author. It's like, oh, so fame is more important to you than science? Huh? That's sad. And he's like, I didn't say that. He's like, oh, so now I'm senile too. Like, he never said that fame is more important to him than science, right? He just said that he thinks that he should be recognized as well. It's not the same argument that they're fighting, right? So if I'm having an argument that animal kennels and pounds need more money, right? And then somebody's like, well, we don't really have the money for that in the budget. And I'm like, oh, so you hate dogs? They don't hate dogs. They just don't have money in the budget. Like, that's not the argument that they're saying. So that's what a straw man is. False dichotomy is when you give only 2 choices, but there's more that exist. So, like this one, there are only 2 types of people in the world. Those who think in false dichotomies and penguins. That's a false dichotomy. Do you want to donate $15 to starving children, or do you hate children? I could love children and just not have $15 to spare. Or USA, love it or leave it. I can live here and still not love it, or I can leave it and have already loved it. Like, there's more options than just those 2. If you are interested in more logical fallacies, I would suggest these 2 videos. The first one is only 6 minutes and 25 seconds. And it is... it goes more in depth with a few different ones. My favorite one, though, is the 8-minute and 10-second video. And she is actually, like, she studies all of the logical fallacies that are out there, and she gives you a wide array, such as, like, moving the target and the Scotsman fallacy. It's like, well, you can't be a real man if you don't do this. And it's really interesting, and she gives a lot of quick, real examples that are really easy to follow. So I would suggest looking at those 2 videos. If you need help with any of this, you can always email me. My email address is gabrielleleandro@ofy.org. You can text me. I'm sure you have my number. You can contact me on Google Classroom, however you want to. But other than that, have a good day, and thank you for watching this video.